Good evening and welcome to another episode of Sip and Chat. It's me, your girl, Fanta, and it gives me great joy and pleasure to introduce my next guest. The beauty of this guest is she's done so well for Gambia, traveling at such an early age, coming back home, giving back to the society. But the most incredible part for me is the fact that she's my sister. I love her, I am proud of her, and to have her on my platform it feels surreal. Anyway, first, right before I introduce my guest, I want to say a big thank you to Paradise Beach Club for lending us the space to film here. Paradise is a beautiful, beautiful beach bar, and it is located down the BB Road. Absolutely stunning. The food is amazing. The drinks, you'll have to come here to know what I'm saying. Massive thank you to Global Properties for being a part of the Sip and Chat family from season 1. We're in season 2 now and they're still supporting, so thank you so very, very much. And a massive thank you to iNet for all your internet services. iNet is the place to visit. And you know what? I have so many goodies in store for you for this season. I don't want to bring the cat out of the bag yet because, you know, it's not time. But in the meantime, please put your hands together as we normally would for imaginary clap as we welcome the one and only Mimi Fatou Ceesay. Welcome. Welcome, Mimi.
I love it. It's so humbling. It's just so humbling to be on your show.
Thank you.
And like you said, the beauty about being here is that I'm doing this with you.
Yes.
And it's so real.
It is.
You know, growing up in the same household, watch you grow and becoming this phenomenal woman.
Thank you.
You're doing so many wonderful things.
Thank you.
And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I know I'm like a big sister, like a
Yes.
little mom.
Yes.
You know?
You are.
But you know, thank you so much for the honor, and I'm so humble and so grateful to be on your show.
Thank you for coming on the show. You know, you just happen to be in the country and it's like, oh, I'm filming Sip and Chat season 2. Great, okay.
I love it.
I am happy. I'm happy you're here.
I will have done this for you, even in the second, the blink of anything that I'm doing. I'll talk about you. I love you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you so much.
Best sister ever.
Thank you for being the best example. I mean, you know, the people might not know, or some might know, when you started your journey, you started off as a model. But I'll just want you, because it's a lot to talk about here, you know. And as you guys know, Sip and Chat is a chat, you know. And I just want you to briefly tell people who you are, for the ones that do not know.
Oh, wow. Ooh, that is such a good question. And when it comes to introducing myself, first, you know, it's very humbling. At the same time, it's so real. You know, but the most important part of being me is that, you know, I've been blessed beyond, you know, to be able to do what I love the most, which is being in front of the camera, theater, TV, and modeling. So yeah, I am all of that. A model, a journalist, an actress, and the most important part is that, you know, I'm a big sister.
Yes, you are.
So yeah, you know, I also host a talk show called the Mimi Show. I think this is the 4th season, and I've done independent film, and with the Screen Actors Guild. Like you said, so many things. But the most important thing is I'm an artist, and I love what I do. I've been so blessed, so honored to be able to do this and also make a living out of it.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I think that's what's beautiful. And you know, you've mentioned so many things that you do here, and you're my sister, obviously, which, you know, when you said modeling, you know, how did that come about? Because obviously you're beautiful. The cheekbones are popping out, you know. But how did it happen for you being a model? Because I know you left when we were very young. You left as what, 17? You left very young to the States to study. Can you walk us through that journey of how you became a model as well?
Well, modeling, let me see. Well, it started since I was here in Gambia.
Okay.
I don't know if people remember back in the days, the Miss Gambia.
Yes.
And one time I was approached, and they were like, you want to contest in the Miss Gambia pageant? I was like, what? Me, no.
Yeah.
Of course, coming from my culture and being so conservative, and I was like, no. So going back to the States, the modeling thing was just so natural to me because as soon as I walked in, as soon as I started going to school, I'll get approached everywhere I go.
Everywhere you go.
I'll go to the mall and like, oh my God, you're so tiny and petite. I never thought about modeling.
Yeah.
And, with hearing that over and over, I was like, let me just give it a try.
Give it a try.
So, and it's been such a humbling experience for me. It actually made me discover who I really wanted to be. And then that actually led me to being here, which is a whole journey from modeling to acting, the whole entertainment. Yeah. And so that's how it started. I started, getting picked out from the mall, the malls, and getting approached by a lot of, scouts.
Yeah.
They call them back in the States. So that's where it started. I started, of course, as a print model because of my physique. I'm very tiny and very little.
Yeah.
And I started from there. I started doing like a lot of commercials.
Yeah.
Which was also part of print modeling.
Yeah.
So that's how it started.
That's how it started. And then, when people ask you, when you get approached naturally, that might not have been something you thought about doing.
No.
And then you did it. And you fell in love with it, I assume.
Absolutely.
When did you get to a point where you felt like, you know what, I like modeling, but I want more? And then, shifted into something else.
The thing with modeling is that it's I always tell people, as your model, being a model, you are actually representing a brand.
Yes.
You become whatever the client
Wants you to be, yeah.
So with that mindset, so if you go there, like I'm wearing the African gambubu, and the client is like, model the gambubu.
Yeah.
So it's no longer me.
You.
It's me actually posing with the gambubu, showing the details of the gambubu. And with that, I just, as the more I do that, the more I discover how much I fell in love with the camera.
Okay.
Because my personality, I'm actually super duper introvert.
Yes.
And I'm a shy person as in nature. But every time I'm in front of the camera, I become this vibrant person where I'm laughing, I'm giggling, and that energy always transcends. So the photographers love taking my pictures, and the clients love my personality of being so ugly in front of the camera. So that's where everything started. And as I prolonged with the modeling, I realized my first love is actually theater. I'm sure you can remember that. I've always been the one that loves to entertain.
Yes.
Me alone, I'm quiet. I want to sit and be left. But when it comes to like the entertainment part, especially the theater, the Bollywood movies,
and then remember when I know this because we were very, very young. And I remember every time Papa was around and you wanted to go out. I remember this story. You would always feign a headache, like and then you'll tie your head up and pretend to go to bed. So when Papa goes to sleep, you'll be out. Thank you very much. I believe this is for Mimi.
Wow.
That's mine. What is this? Use.
That's the strawberry mango.
Okay.
Dark grape and the frozen lemonade.
And this is the frozen
Lemonade.
Yep. Oh, thank you.
Have your drinks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ooh. What's the show if we don't sip? That's a really, really good mocktail. I really like. Yeah. Mom is making the people watching the show right now want to have a mango strawberry daiquiri. The only place to get it is Paradise Beach, by the way. This good.
So good. Okay.
But yes,
the beauty about this.
it is.
Like
I remember that. I remember that time vividly. I remember they were like, I have a headache, Papa, I'm sick. And then you will go inside and pretend to be asleep. So when everyone had gone to bed, you'll get dressed with your friend and go out. How I know this is because I would always eavesdrop. Every time, the morning after the night out, I would always eavesdrop and listen to the conversation. And obviously, when Papa and Mama and all of them would have a conversation, they would always say, Mimi is very, very smart. She's too wise. We have to be on the lookout for that one. So I do know that was a memory that just yes.
So this is like a natural thing, I guess.
I know. Sorry guys, but you know, as a child you never forget.
Pretending I have a headache.
Yes.
Just to come dressed up and
So the theatrics started from there.
yes. It started.
Yeah.
It started like it's always been around. But
That's where it was coming to life.
Coming to life.
Yes.
Creating a whole, personality. Yeah, but yeah, theater is my first love. I love theater. I remember, when I started actually doing the theater, the acting thing. I remember I used to do a lot of extra work behind the scenes. Like, every time the agent told me, "Hey, we have a background work," and I'll leave everything that I'm doing. I'm like, "Yeah, I swear," working around Manhattan, running around with my bag, and, just trying to be in the scene.
In the scene.
So I remember one film, Just Right.
I was about to say Just Right, but go on. When we saw you in Just Right, but please narrate the story.
Okay, it's okay. You go ahead.
I remember so she's in Just Right, and she has this scene where she sat with Paula Patton, behind Paula Patton or next to Paula Patton, and Queen Latifah. So this movie Just Right is, by the way, our favorite. And we didn't even know she was in there. It was when we watched it. Imagine our surprise.
Wow.
We were watching Just Right, and in one of the scenes in a basketball, arena, there was my sister just clapping it, and I was, hold up, pause. There's Mimi, just that adrenaline.
Oh my God.
It was a beautiful feeling because obviously, you left little sisters here, and we grew up, and we all have desires and wants and needs and things we look up to. So seeing that, it solidified for me as well, feeling like, you know what, I could do this too. That's what you did. Yes.
I'm a cornball.
But that's what you did. But go ahead.
I'm glad. I'm just happy that I can see the light in your face, and if that's all, that's how much I inspired you and all my little sisters. It's just very humbling.
You really did. You really did. You really did. You really did.
better.
You paved the way. Just now, doing acting. Obviously, like you said, before now, times have changed. But before now, we come from a very close-knit conservative family, Muslim family, where it's like the things you did, where you paved the way for us to do, it was unheard of. It was like, modeling? What is she doing modeling? And the negative connotations that are associated with modeling and acting then, still now to an extent, but then it was far worse. How did you navigate that?
That's a very good question, actually. I remember some nights I would go to bed and questioning myself. Questioning like I love this, but why can't I do it? I'm doing it. Why can't I just do it to the fullest? Like you said, coming from such a conservative background and being a big sister that always have to set
an example, an acceptable example.
Quote unquote, according to societal norms. So it wasn't that easy, honestly. I remember some nights I would go to bed and I'm like, okay, what am I doing? What if somebody else is seeing my pictures or seeing me in a movie? What if they go and tell my dad? And all that I used to put into consideration. But one thing I started telling myself as time went by, I loved it. And because I loved it, and it made me happy. So because of those reasons, I'm like, hey, listen, at this point, I'm going to have to go in 120%.
Yes.
Because this I love.
Yes.
Unfortunately, our society and the norms and, of course, the backlash and what ifs. But at the end of the day, I just was like, I love it. And I'm not going to let anyone stop me. And I remember, my late mom, may her soul.
Rest in peace.
She'd be like, Mira, what you got on the picture, it was too short. Why are you showing your arms like that? Why are you doing like that? And just hearing her, always question my outfit choices. It was very heartbroken to a point where I was like, I'm gonna hide my pictures away. From all of y'all.
Yeah, none of y'all are gonna see.
I'm gonna hide my pictures away from all of y'all. And I just started following my heart. Yeah, that's what I did for myself, and it's just very humbling to be here. And
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Knowing that, acting, this is what you loved, especially back then, it must have been very tough how you dealt with that. You know what? We're going to go with our first break. When we're back, more with Mimi. Stay tuned.
You can now receive money anytime and anywhere in Gambia through MoneyGram for free. Simply dial *777# to register and access your MoneyGram at any AfriMoney agent. Free cash outs, $100 free for all MoneyGram transfers into AfriMoney. Cash out at any AfriMoney agent or AfriCell outlet.
Welcome back after that break. A massive thank you to Global Properties for being a part of Sip and Chat. iNet for all your internet solutions. iNet is the company to visit. Big thank you to Paradise Beach Club for lending us the space to film for these tasty mocktails. Thank you so very much. This outfit was designed by Mina J. Mina J is in Fajara. Amazing fits. All authentic, all made here. And her taste is unique. That's what I love about it. So check her out. Mimi?
Yes.
Welcome back on Sip and Chat.
Thank you.
Right before we went on the break, we were talking about some of the movies, the Just Right, which was such a big deal for us back home, seeing that. You now knowing, obviously, when you traveled, you went to further your education. What did you major in?
Well, of course, I started with TV, radio, and broadcasting. It's always been about the mass media, mass communication. But later, a couple of years ago, I went back and got my second bachelor's in communication and technology.
Nice.
And now I'm working on my master's in psychology.
Okay. How does it feel? Do you know what? Two bachelors and a master on the way.
Thank you.
That, and a master's on the way. How does it feel now, knowing that you're big? Because unfortunately, in the industry, and it doesn't matter whether it's in the U.S., Africa, Nigeria, wherever it is, a pretty face is not associated with being intelligent.
Thank you.
It really isn't. When they look at a pretty girl, the first thing they say, "Oh, she's pretty. We can put her here, mute." Okay. But now, when you open your mouth, I'm sure a lot of people are shocked because you're learning, you're educated. And then you're utilizing what you've learned. How does it feel? And have you ever been in a situation where you were judged based on your looks? Now, these are stories I want to hear.
Oh, wow, those are great questions. Those are great questions. Like you said, it's the stereotypical judgmental view of society when it comes to looks and certain expectations from our looks. So my thing with being in the whole media, it's that it was a passion, something that I loved, and then I made a career out of it. But always, at the back of my mind, I've always told myself that I wanted to do better in life, and then I wanted to make sure that, like you said, the looks is just not all I can give. I wanted to break the stereotypical expectation of the African girl child when it comes to certain looks and how we're supposed to be. To me, when it comes to the African girl child, we're limited to we've been literally been programmed. I'm trying to use a perfect word without really being, offending anyone in any forms, in any shape. And of course, please do not take my words out of content. This is all coming from a good place, if you know what I mean. Our society, when it comes to the African girl child, we've been so primitively conditioned to be certain way, and especially with certain looks. You're good for two things, get married and have kids, which is amazing. Don't get me wrong, please. Everyone deserves to find love of their lives, get married, and have family and all of that. But again, back to me personally, I wanted to break that norm to make sure this is just not all that I have. I wanted to have more. I wanted to be able to give more. I wanted to be able to stand in front of the next me and tell her, you can be anything you want to be. Never ever limit yourself based on what society's expectations of you. You can do and you can be anything you want it to be. But with me having that in my back of my mind, I said, I'm not just going to use my words. I want to lead by example. If I stand here, I tell you all the stuff that I did in entertainment, and then I can back it up with a couple of degrees. And of course, not just backing it up, I can actually prove, with the degree. I think that way, if anything, my messages will come across a lot more better and a lot more authentic for the next me out there. So I'm just breaking the boundaries. We're
That's
just
nice.
breaking
That's
all,
nice.
you
That's
know,
nice.
all everything the stereotypical way, especially when it comes to the looks and stuff. And then the second part of your question is being judged. Every single day I'm being judged. You know, they see me because my personality, I'm very, very laid back. And it's like, oh, there's, you know, especially the people that met me at the first time. Oh, that's it. High maintenance.
Yeah.
You know, look at her. All she offers, all she
All
has
she has
is
is
this.
their TV.
All she offers is
Prim
this.
and proper. Just high
Exactly.
maintenance, yes.
Just sit there and look pretty, you know. Of course, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for however my looks are. But again, I just didn't want to just rely on that. I wanted to give more. I wanted to be able to speak in front of people and letting them know, you know, this is just not all I can give. I can give, and I have more to give. So.
That's beautiful. When it comes to society, we've mentioned in Gambia, unfortunately, the girl child, like you said, is conditioned to, we are trained and raised to be wives.
Absolutely.
That's it.
And mothers.
And mothers. We're trained to be a wife and a mother. You have to listen to your husband, you have to do this, you have to do that. Whereas when it's flipped, the young boys are not trained to be good men.
That's a fact.
Majority of the time.
Absolutely, majority.
They're not trained to be good men. They just, oh, you're a boy, you're supposed to be taken care of by a woman. So we grow up in households where ours was a bit different, but majority of the society grow up in households where men would sleep. If they don't have anything to do, the boys would be sleeping and the girls would be up in the morning cleaning, cooking, feeding. And the moment you eat, when you eat already, somebody else is coming to clear that up for you. You as a male child, you're not doing anything.
Absolutely.
And these are conversations that we don't have enough. Or maybe we do, but when we do, sometimes when we relay our messages, it is looked at as, oh, you are angry. And it's not anger. We're trying to change the narrative.
Absolutely.
You being away at 17, and you've been in the US for more than 20 years, right?
Yes.
I know for a fact that the way you grew up and the way we grew up is completely different.
Absolutely.
You got to see the world at a very early age and your mentality changed and you've been married. How did coming out of a society like that with that upbringing, how were some of your challenges back in the US?
Those are great questions. Those are great questions, of course, you know, especially where you touched on the African girl child struggle and still we being looked at a certain way when it comes to, you know, what we can offer. I feel like we always get low ball.
Yeah.
We always, you know, always get the short end of the stick. I feel like, you know, we've always been suppressed. Excuse me, I'm sorry. That's just what I'm saying. You know, I feel like sometimes we cannot even, we were not even allowed to even live to our fullest potential because of what societies, you know, how they combine us and how they wanted us to be and how we're supposed to be, quote unquote. So my experience, you know, being in the US and coming from such a society, in the beginning, like I said, I used to question myself a lot. It was very, very hard in the beginning, you know, trying to confine myself where I'm like, okay, I'm here to go to school, I have to go to school and I have to get married, I have to do this, I have to, which I did. You know, of course, I got married, I have a child, you know, mashallah, you know, but those challenges, those expectations really, really, sometimes I feel like it kind of held me back a little bit. And sometimes I wish I was like, man, I wish I wasn't raised in this culture because, you know, I think I would have done even better. But because of the culture that I came from, I have to be very mindful of certain things that I say, certain things that I do, and how society will view me, and especially my parents back home.
It held you back mentally.
It held me back mentally, emotionally, and I felt like I couldn't really live to my fullest potential because of the expectations and also, you know, what society's expectations of us. So yeah, that really, really was a bit challenging for me. And like I said, until I break through for myself's sake and till I start realizing what I love versus what's people's expectations of me. So I'm considered a sort of rebel, but not in a bad way, in a way where I am living my true self. And I've got to experience that, and with that, I am not apologizing.
At all.
I am being super duper unapologetic about all my experiences in life and where I'm at right now. And I'm looking forward to meeting me, the next chapter of my life. So.
I love that.
Thank you.
Now we've listened to some of the things you've achieved.
Ah.
And we'll get back to your acting a little bit more and your show. But who's Mimi as a woman and as a wife? Because I know you just got married again.
Thank
Look at me
you.
saying that like I'm an outsider. We know. But
I love it.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mrs. Bond. That's
Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Who is Mimi now?
Oh, God, you have such a great question, Fanta. I mean, I didn't teach you all this.
You know, but I've been watching you for a long time, so.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Back at you. Well, Mimi has I think, you know, like I said, every single day as we living here, you know, I always advise myself and a lot of people around me is that, you know, we have a lot of choices to make when it comes to life. You know, we can be anything we want to be, whatever we set our minds to. And I think with me, I started becoming a lot more mindful of being here, this moment, and you know, because the more I think about the past, that's where the depression comes in place, and the more I think about the future, I become a lot more anxious, and that's where the anxiety kicks in. But once I start meditating and I start differentiating, understanding that the past is gone, there's absolutely nothing I can do, and the future is not here yet. And there's no even guarantee of the future being here. So why don't I start living now? You know, being alive, you know, being here, this moment, right now, being mindful. I think that's where the growth started in for me. And you know, being a wife and being a mother, like I said, every moment I have with my son, it's just as precious as it can be. And of course, with my husband, you know, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for him because, you know, you're married to a woman that's almost all over the place. But, you know, of course, I love you and thank you for understanding my position in life. Yeah, I'm truly humbled. It's such a great, she's an amazing friend. A great, very understanding of my lifestyle. So, you know, with that being said, I think, you know, me personally is the growth. Is growing every single day. And I tell him, you know, every day, I want to be better than the person that I was today. That is my goal in life. Because, you know, tomorrow is gone, but I want to be better than the person that I was yesterday. So every single day, that's how I live. And as soon as I start loving myself, which I felt like, you know, we was being so confined when it comes to loving and expressing our love for each other, because we will not learn to love ourselves. So once I master loving me and appreciating me and putting me first, that's when I'm able to give out the same love vibe, to love endlessly. So everywhere I am at, whatever I'm doing that moment, I try to inhale and exhale and just be at that present. I think that's what's working out for me. And you know, when I'm with my husband, it's like it's about him. You know, when I'm with my child, it's about him. When I'm with people around me, it's about that people, that moment, you know. So that's actually been helping me maneuver around this thing called life. And you know, it's very humbling, and I'm so grateful to be here, and I'm so thankful with all the experiences that I have and all the amazing people that I have in my life, and of course all the great people that I've met in my life. So yeah.
You know, I like to ask my guests this question. I love love. I feel like anyone that really knows me knows that I love love.
Of course, you grew up in love. Okay,
I really did.
I hugged you
really
so
did.
many times.
I really did.
I remember when you used to cry. Somebody
I was
messed
such a
up.
crybaby, by the way. I think that's why I don't cry as much now over like situations. I would probably cry over family stuff.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe my friend going through stuff, but I would probably not cry about my own stuff. I think I cried so much as a child.
Yeah, as a child, every time you cry, I remember I would
hug me. She's such a
I would
mom.
hug her, I would hug you so tight. And I'm always telling you you're beautiful.
Oh, you
And
do.
I'm always telling you, Fanta, you're so beautiful. Every time I comb your hair, I'm like, look at you, you're so beautiful.
I think that's why now, being a woman now and being as confident and sure of myself. I mean, obviously, this is not to say that I'm always confident or sure of myself. We have moments where I don't feel as great.
Yeah.
But overall, being a woman and being sure of myself and confident, I think it's because of that.
Aww.
It's because, obviously, with Papa,
Yes.
he loved us.
Oh my God, the
And it was
best
so
dad,
evident.
the best dad in the whole entire world.
He really, honestly,
He's
and
so
I know
rest
every
in
girl
peace.
says this, but really, my dad was one of a kind.
He was
Our dad was one of a kind.
the
And I
best
think-
dad ever.
Really, and I think because he loved us,
Mashallah.
he loved us so much, and he wasn't afraid of showing love.
Yes.
I think that's why we're so
Loving, yeah.
and just like nurturing. And even growing up with like older siblings, there was always that love. There was always that
Absolutely,
shielding,
that bond, that
bond.
protection.
It's beautiful, and obviously your motherly instinct started way before your time.
I know.
Oh, so baby, you're crying. Come here. Like, she's always been that way.
I love love.
You do. I want to know, how did you meet your husband?
Oh my God.
I know, I love
the first one. We didn't talk about
I
this.
know. You know, just give us a little bit. Because she's private like me. You know, it's love is beautiful.
You know,
So
my
just brief.
personal life,
I
it's
know.
boring. There's literally nothing happening in my
Not to the
life.
people. Not to the people.
I'm just married and do the regular old stuff. My husband, I mean, he is one of the most intelligent human being I've met. Very well, very educated, very well articulated. And the beauty about, being with someone like that is how much he encourages me, how much he pushes me to do what I love. No, even though at his own expense, he will still,
That's a supportive partner, okay? Take notes. Sorry,
Thank
I have
you,
these
thank
moments
you.
where, take notes. That's a husband that supports her in everything she does. Period.
Yeah, of course we started as
Friends.
mutual friends. At the time I wasn't really, looking at any possible relationship. I was like, I'm in love with myself.
Period.
I'm learning to love myself every day. I'm learning to discover who I am, and I was enjoying that. I was enjoying being me. And of course, when he came in the picture, he was just like, I want to marry you. I want to marry you. I want to marry you. I thought at first, it was
a
just
joke.
whatever. I'm like, yeah, you and everybody
Everybody
else.
else.
You
Join
know,
the queue.
but yeah, it's like, please, just join the rest.
Yeah.
But with him, what stood out the most about him is how persistent
He was.
he was. He was very persistent. He was very consistent. He was very, very consistent. If the man calls you every day at 6 a.m., he will make sure you get the same call, the same messages at the same time. Every night is the same. I'm like, this is different.
Consistency.
Consistency. Very, very consistent.
Are you,
and
are
I
you,
was
are you
like,
people listening? Keyword, consistency.
what, you're making me laugh.
I know, but it's because it's so hard to come by these days with just seeing someone consistent in what they want and persistent because
Absolutely.
this is what they want.
Absolutely.
So I'm just like, but also
Absolutely.
when someone's for you, all that comes easy.
Absolutely. That is true. Like I said, love is not supposed to be forced. Love is just natural. And when you find that one, I say that everywhere I go. I am such a love guru.
You are.
Where everywhere I go, I see love. Everything I see love in it. But one thing I've learned through the experience of meeting him was, he made me validate my love for love. I know, it's crazy. Yeah, that consistency was one thing that stood out of the bunch, of course. And and he showed me acceptance. He accepted me. And I remember, I'm like, I'm not your regular girl. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I have all this going on. I'm like, I'm not going to get expected.
I don't think any of the Ceesay girls are the regular girls. I think we all come with a little bit of
Something. Something.
You gotta be special. But you know what? Hold that thought. We're gonna go with our second break. When we're back, more with Mimi on Sip and Chat. Welcome back after that break. Big thank you to Global Properties, iNet for all your internet services. Fast, swift internet. That's the place you should visit. Really and truly. Global Properties. I mean, need I say more? For all your housing, Global is the place to go. It is beautiful. It is well done. It is affordable, and it is the way forward. And did I say it is affordable? And they have payment plans for how you can acquire your own property and pay it as you go. That is the beauty of Global Properties. Thank you. Welcome back. also, you know, needless to say, thank you to Paradise. I mean,
This is beautiful.
it's beautiful.
It
The
is.
mocktails are amazing.
It is.
Ricky, the whole gang, thank you. You know, you were talking about love, and you know I love love. How, you know, you were telling me about your husband and how he's accepted you for being. What does that mean? And you know, we said the Ceesay girls come with a little bit of oomph. You have to know us to know it. You have to be with a Ceesay girl, like to know that as a Ceesay woman, you would get everything, but like they come with.
A prize.
How was that for him? Like you said, he accepted you, but how was that for him?
I think with him, he kind of had an idea of who I was, because it wasn't like, you know, we just started talking and then boom, we got married.
Yeah.
He kind of had an idea who I was, and it's been like a whole journey, according to him, you know, trying to navigate through and having access and everything. And but I think with me, it's just sometimes the fear. Yeah, sometimes I even though I advocate a lot about being fearless. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you fall in love with you, but you know, it's almost inevitable sometimes, especially when it comes to us being a woman, being vulnerable and stuff. And but I think with him, those are the reasons that I appreciated him the most, because he knew my fear of the whole thing over again, and I was so guarded, and I had the thing where, you know, it's like hello, hi, and bye.
Mimi
You
was
know?
not ready to give her
I
her
was
heart
there,
again.
no. I was like, nope. Fool me once, fool me twice, it's my fault.
yeah.
You know, this is like, everybody is just red flag. You know, the word red flag. If you say hi, bye, red flag.
Yeah.
You know, I think how he navigated through that, and like I said, with his consistencies, and you know, he took the fear of that I had. It took that fear away, and it made me realize that, you know, it's different when you find the one. You know, it's different when they are the one. You know, it's a lot more patient and very encouraging, and you know, respectful. Because I always say there's three things in a relationship. You know, a relationship consists of course, respect, trust, and yeah, it's respect, trust, and then what's the other one again? It's respect, trust, and love. Of course, how do I forget the word love? You know, I would say those three things, if any is missing in a relationship, please, the relationship is done. You cannot go love without respect, or respect without trust, you know, vice versa. So with him, I think he made me overcome my fears, and I was able to be vulnerable with him without really being judged. I think those are some of the things that I appreciate a lot about him. And of course, fear was one of my main, you know, the whole shebang, doing it over again. So yeah, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I am thankful, and of course, you know, I'm just being mindful as I'm going, and to spend, you know, more time and just cherish the moments that I have with him.
I'm happy. I'm
Thank
happy.
you.
You know, I'm happy. Just like seeing you being, because if there's anything, if I know about you, it's the fact that you have such a big heart and you're so loving, and you love. So just seeing you being in a space where you're, what's the word? You feel safe in the love. It's beautiful. Yeah. And I'm happy for you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm
Thank
very
you.
happy for you,
Thank
because
so
you do
much.
deserve
Thank
that.
you. I'm proud of you, and of course, I tell you this all the time, and I pray for you all the time. You know, I pray for you to find that one.
You know, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon.
It feels good when you find that one.
Yeah.
The one.
Yeah.
That particular one.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't have to. You don't have to do much.
Well,
Just be
you know what? I'm open.
we taking applications. So.
Yeah. She'll be scrutinizing you.
And screening.
And screening. I don't know if Portia would like this one though. Who's Mimi? You know, when now that you know what you want, you know what you're doing, you know you're in a great space in your life. Outside of acting and the things you love, what is something else that you love that people don't know? What is a hidden talent as well that you have that people don't know?
I think a lot of people don't know about me. That's a great question, Fanta. I just love talking to you. I can see you all day. I think a lot of people, what they don't know about me is like I'm a super duper introvert. Yeah. I am a very, very, very shy person. I know you see me on cameras, you see me doing all these things, you're like, what is she talking about? Yeah, you know, just when the camera is on and lights, camera, and action. But the reality is behind the scenes, I'm very, very, very private, very, very introvert, and I'm almost a loner. I know it sounds scary because I'm very creative. You know, I'm very, very super duper creative. I write movie scripts. That's my hidden talent, and you know, and I meditate. Yeah, but I think being able to do that part of me, like that hidden talent, the reason I'm able to groom it, the reason I'm able to make something out of it, it's because I am able to differentiate my moment. Like if I'm home, home is home. Seeing with my sweatpants, wigs off, you know, walking around with my barefoot or socks when it's cold. And yeah, my creative part is one thing that I love about myself. And you know, I wake up most of the time in the middle of the night when I meditate, and that's when I am more centered and more peace with myself, aligned with the universe. And you know, as a creative individual, that's when things and ideas start floating through my mind. So yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That is really, really interesting.
Well, thank you.
On the show, there is a big part of the show that talks about mental health. And I know that is, just like for me, that is also something very important to you. And you've mentioned, you've thrown little hints in a conversation throughout. You know, you've talked about meditation, you've talked about depression, you've talked about anxiety. These are all things that are mental battles that we face.
Absolutely.
That maybe people might not know. You know, for you, what has your journey been like with mental health?
Oh God. You know, mental health, you know, that word, it's one of the most powerful words. And I feel like, you know, we people kind of misuse it. And according to the American Psychology Association, 1 in every 5 adults is suffering from mental illness. And coming from a societal standpoint, and our viewpoint, and our ideology, and what we believe as a norm, there's no such thing as mental health. There's no such thing as, the person is sick.
Yeah.
You know, the whole definition of sick and illness is different. People think sick and illness is the same. No, I can look like this, I can function, but I'm actually sick. You see, people don't understand that with the psychology, battling a lot of stuff internally, because you can't see depression, you can't see anxiety. But when people are going through it, they're the only one that know the demons they're battling with within. And every single one of us, according to psychology, as an adult, we are fighting, we're battling with our inner childhood. Things that was done to you as a child still lingers in your mind, still affects your day-to-day life.
That is
still has a lot of impact in you right now.
That's facts.
So some people were raped, some people were abused, some people were, and abuse sometimes is just not physical. It goes mental, verbal, psychological, physiological. A lot of us went through that as children. And as adults, most of us are fighting that inner self, that little voice in our heads that's always constantly kept bringing doubts in our mind. And that's where the mental illness comes in handy. So me, as my journey started, well, I've always been very mindful, like I said, when it comes to mental health and stuff. But I had a wake-up moment, I believe, when I lost my mom. You know, when I lost my dad and lost mom, and then a few years later we lost our dad.
2 years later, to be exact.
Yeah, and then we lost our dad. I think that's when I had a breaking point, because I was trying to deal with this. Yeah. You know, not understanding, what's really what's going on, and then boom, this hard one. So and then I was just like, okay, so where do I go from there? Yeah. You know, I remember.
I'm not even done.
I'm not even done. Yeah. And then, and 2 years after that again, lost other stepmom.
Papa, and then mama.
Yeah. So, that broke me down into pieces, and made me, I was gone. I remember after I lost my mom, the first year I didn't even look at myself in the mirror. I didn't look at myself in the mirror. I didn't know what depression was. I didn't know what mental illness was. To really experience it, you know. But to that deeper level, I lost me. I lost me. I didn't know who I was. I was just navigating through the day after day. But if you ask me those years of what I was doing, I can't tell you anything. Because I felt like I had a blank memory of that, after that event. That's how much I was affected. But again, we're from a society where you're not supposed to speak out.
It's like, because Alakitolum, I'm not allowed to express how I
feel. Because once you start expressing it,
it's like you're questioning God. That's what they associate it with.
Yeah. So you have to literally suffer. I suffered in silence. I suffered. I remember I used to hallucinate. I suffered severe depression. I remember I was diagnosed with like severe depression.
Really?
I was diagnosed with severe depression, and then I think a lot of past started hallucinating, and I didn't have the help that I needed. I didn't have the people to talk to because I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want to come across as, oh, she's looking for attention, you know, because you know I'm very private and very quiet and I'm an introvert. And at that time, you know, this only support system that I had, I also lost that part too. You know, at the time I was married, and then I didn't have the support that I needed that moment from that particular situation and that partner. So, you know, I was just left wondering, trying to figure out what this was, what is happening, and what this is. And I remember, you know, my first, I think I slept work. That really scared me, that made me start questioning my sanity. I think one morning, it was like maybe 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, and I can't remember, but all I knew was I drove myself to the grocery store, and I couldn't remember anything.
How you?
I don't know. It was cold. It was in the winter. I had on my jacket. I had on my ox. I had on my purse. I took the keys. I locked the door. I can't remember how I got there. I was at the grocery store, and then I realized, what am I doing here? I drove.
That's crazy.
I drove there, and I realized I'm here, and I'm like, what am I doing here? And I started panicking. I started getting anxiety, like, because I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? So I went home. Of course, Abdul was there, and his dad, luckily everybody was home. So since that day, I knew I cannot live like this. And I think that's when I made the first call, and then I was in a group setting, you know, where I started, you know, the whole counseling experience. And, you know, with that, it's just been such a great awakening for me. And that's why psychology became part of me, and that's why psychology is a personal journey for me. I want to help the next me out there that, you know, it's okay to talk. It's okay to speak. You know, you cannot battle everything inside. And our society should be very, very mindful of what people are going through sometimes. You know, like I said, when they expect you to look crazy, it doesn't mean you were crazy. You know, you can look like me, you can look like you, but in reality, I'm battling a lot of stuff internally. I think we should also learn to be compassionate towards one another, and to be kind to each other. That's why there's a difference between the narcissistic and the empath. You know, I think empath, like myself, I chose love. Love. I don't see anything but love, because love was the only thing that helped me through what I went through. I met people that I've never met before, but they accepted me in that class. You know, I used to go every day, and when I started crying, they would let me cry. They will not judge me. They won't stop me. They will let me cry. And I realized how important it was to let those things out of my heart, out of my chest. I remember one time I cried for a whole hour. I cried for a whole hour. The council and everybody else, they were there. And these are people that no one said anything. They just let me cry, because I had so much in me, and I couldn't even explain what I was feeling, but all I wanted to do was cry that moment.
And especially you just growing up, remembering that you've always been a person that's like well put together. It's like if everyone's falling apart, Mimi is well put together, helping everyone, gathering everyone. So I can only imagine how many years of everything that was piled up together that came out that day. It's okay. It's okay.
You know, that's why I think my journey and being in psychology, and especially specializing in mental illness, it's a personal journey for me. I just want to help as many people as I can, and I want to touch as many lives as I can. And when it comes to mental illness and mental health, you know, I don't believe anyone should suffer. You know, we should open up a space and create a safe haven for every single one of us, you know, that's still suffering, you know, because sometimes the glam and money and all this luxury thing doesn't mean anything if you are not well.
Mentally okay, if you're not well.
If you're not well. So yeah, that's where my journey started in the mental health, and that's what inspired me to get into psychology
as a master's.
and as in masters. And my journey, my goal is actually to pursue my PhD in clinical psychology, because here you see people that are sick, and of course we use the taboo to talk about sitting, you know, yeah, dokule, all this stuff. Of course, don't get me wrong, I'm not insulting the society, and I'm not being disrespectful to what people believe. It does exist, please don't get me wrong, because it's in the Quran as well. But one thing I am learning is we just gotta be a lot more compassionate towards one another, and learn to listen to each other, not just to listen to respond, but to listen to understand where the person is coming from. Because mental illness is real, and a lot of people are suffering. Yeah, so those are the things that really inspired me to get into psychology, and in hopes and dreams of pursuing my PhD in clinical psychology, and you know, to literally to come back home, to be specific, especially you know, the continent of Africa as a whole, where, you know, if I can be in any help to anyone when it comes to dealing with mental illnesses, I think with my experience and with what I've been through, I want to be nothing but an advocate for people like myself and the me that's watching this show right now, that, you know, it's okay to speak up. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to talk to someone. You're not alone, and do not feel ashamed and do not feel embarrassed. It's okay. Mental illness is real, and we are all suffering in different ways and different forms, and do not ever feel embarrassed to ask for help. It's okay.
Thank you for sharing that. That was very, very deep and emotional. Thank you. Knowing that you know, you're doing psychology to help people, it makes me feel so relieved, because, you know, I get a lot of people that reach out to me, Fanta, where do I go? Fanta, who do I talk to? And I know that there was a lady here, I've been told, Ngaima, psychologist, that was doing well. But I think she's gone to do her master's or something. She's not in the country right now. And there are a lot of people that are just hesitant, because it's like, oh, I don't want somebody to know my problems. I don't want somebody to know that this is how I'm wired. And especially because Gambia is a very small country and we all almost know each other, it's actually hard to open up. You thinking of relocating back home to have your own practice, what is something that you can tell someone that's watching the show today? Because I won't lie, myself, that's a challenge. I'm constantly like, but you know, I'm a popular face, and I don't want to sit in front of like a therapist and be, you know, and you know, it's Gambia, so you're kind of, you're skeptical about that. What would you say to myself and others watching?
That it's okay to feel that way, that it's okay to question, especially the society that's not accustomed to the whole counseling and the whole mental health. It's okay to feel that way. But one thing I can say out there is, when it comes to psychology, the number one thing that we are taught every single day is confidentiality. That's the code of conduct. That's the 101 in psychology. You have to be held liable and responsible for anything that comes in that environment and leaves. So we're very, very, very protective of people's privacy, which is number one, confidentiality, number two, and to make sure that never ever discuss your clients or your patients, you know, we call patient, we say patient, information out there. Never ever mention a name as well. You can give example of a scenarios so other people to understand, in order for you to relate. Because some people are there, they can be very hard to relate to. Or with stories and stuff can make them understand where you're coming from. Yeah. So yeah, you can tell a story, but as long as you do not mention the patient's name, you do not talk about your patient's situations or problems or issues out there, because with that, you know, you're breaking all the bridges when it comes to confidentiality. And of course, in the U.S., you will get sued, you know. So it's a lot of you know, boundaries when it comes to that. So, you know, I personally was in a group setting, you know, all those people knew my problems. They knew what I was going through. But nevertheless, I was never judged. I never felt like I was judged. And I also believe, as a counselor and also a therapist, we also have to create a safe haven for our patients. If you come to me, I want you to feel safe. I want you to feel at home. So that's my responsibility to us as well, to make sure if in the future I decided to practice this full time, where I'm also helping at the same time, my job is to make sure when you come to me, you're safe. When you come around me, you're safe. That I have to create, unfortunately.
Thank you. I think that's a question that I ask myself and a lot of people do. So thank you very much for breaking that down. I cannot wait for you to be fully done and just like help, because there are a lot of people that need the help. There are a lot of people that don't have outlets to just express themselves, that are going through so many things and they're afraid of being judged. And a lot of men actually have a lot of demons they fight, but because society has programmed it for men to be tough, they're not allowed, they're not given the space to just express themselves, because you don't want to be termed weak, or you don't want to be termed, oh, you're not strong. And mental health is not something to be boasting about, like, oh, I'm strong. No. If you need help, it's okay to ask for help.
It's mental. And I always say my African boy child, my brothers, my uncles, my fathers out there, society expectations when it comes to the boy child is like another level too. When you are forced to be successful. You're forced to take care of family because you have to be successful. So what is success? What is success in terms of definition? When it comes to the society that you live, you have to have a lot of money. You have to be wealthy. You have to have a big house. You have to have big cars. You have to have this. You have to have that. So the pressure of them growing up, it's like they're programmed not to even love with their hearts anymore.
Yeah.
It's more like if I'm gonna love this person, I'm looking for someone that I can provide for.
Yeah.
So they grew up with this tough attitude, this toughness in them that most of them are suffering because they never really experienced love or ever be allowed to be vulnerable. And because of those reasons, everyone have a lot of guards up because, like you said, you don't want to cry, you don't want to feel like you're a weak man, you don't want to feel like, you're going to disrespect me.
I would say that.
Yeah,
I've never cried, and I'm like, that's not a badge of honor.
No, it's not, and it's okay to cry. I'm telling you, it's okay to cry. My African boy child, my African brothers, my African uncles, fathers, grandfathers out there, it's okay to cry. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with you crying.
And it's okay to
It's
ask for
okay
help.
to ask for help. It's okay. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to let your guards down. Love is so beautiful. And if you don't have love in your heart, you will not know how to love. And that's why our society is suffering. That's why a lot of women are going through a lot of home domestic violence, because you end up with a man that's treating you like an object. All you are to them is someone to look after. And it's not supposed to be like that. Love yourself so much that you're able to give out love. And love is so beautiful. And I hope you all can experience that. But all you gotta do is let your guards down, and it's okay to ask for help. You're not alone.
That's beautiful.
We are all in this together.
That's beautiful. This is one of my most beautiful mental health segments. We'll go with a short break when we're back. Never Have I Ever comes next.
Woo!
Send money to Gambia for free! You can now send money via MoneyGram to AfriMoney in Gambia anytime, anywhere. Simply go on to MoneyGram.com or the app and select Pay through AfriMoney to send. Make sure the receiver is registered on AfriMoney in Gambia or get them to dial *777# to register. Instantly, the money comes into their AfriMoney wallet. No hassle, no wait times, complete ease. Cash out at any AfriMoney agent or AfriCell outlets. Free cash out, no sending fees.
Welcome back to Sip and Chat, and we're in the final segment of the show called the Never Have I Ever. One of my favorites. So, are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, big shout outs to Pulo Creates on Instagram for creating these Never Have I Ever fans. Thank you very much. So, are you ready?
Yes.
My first question is, this is interesting. I'm asking my sister all the nitty gritty of her life that we didn't know. Never have I ever cheated on a partner. You have never? Ceesay girls don't cheat?
Nope.
I've never.
100%, you know what I'm saying?
Ceesay girls don't cheat, we're loyal.
Be loyal.
My second question is, never have I ever lied on my resume to get a job. You have. I need to know this story. Because you know, that your America there, you get too many things. I need to know, what job was this?
This was my very, very first job in America. Of course, I wish I could say the name of the company, but I'm not going to give you guys a shout out.
No.
I refuse. I remember the first time I went there, and then they were like, you know, we need experience. Well, of course, a cashiering job at a supermarket. And I remember I never had a resume back then. I was 17 and of course hustling. I never really had a resume. So I remember going back, and then one of my classmates was like, you're just gonna go ahead and write there. You work the certain place, you know, include it there so that when they ask you questions, you know, you just know how to kind of like maneuver through it. But the kicker, so I submitted my resume, I got called for an interview. I didn't know they were gonna ask me like backstories and what happened.
You were like, child, I didn't sign up for this.
I believe the lady was like, so in a situation like this, once the customer comes into you that they're complaining, you know, about a service, so how do you respond, or how did you handle a certain situation? I'll never forget that question because it lingered in my mind. I had to think about it. It became like a little tattoo in my memory, because that's the first thing I lied about.
Okay.
And you know, of course, you know, being lying and all that integrity stuff that would tell back home, everything flew out of the window to get a job.
You were trying to get a job. It's okay.
So it is what it is. Okay. So I remember I looked at her with a blank face. And then I kept looking at her, She was like, yeah, so I'm waiting on your response. I was like, well, I went and called the manager because I knew calling the manager is always the first thing to do. And she looked at me, she was like, okay, great question. And then she was like, okay, great question. If you don't know anything, you just ask the manager. That's why we're here. This is the management team, teamwork. I was like, Lord have mercy.
That was smart,
I remember getting the job. After I got the job, I was like, okay, lying never felt this good.
So you have, okay, good. Never have I ever dated two people at the same time.
You know, I'm such a cornball.
Really?
Yes, I'm such a cornball.
Because
you have to remember, people like me, I love.
That's true.
And I love love. So, and I'm always mindful of hurting people.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, because I love so deep, and that's why I always get up, you know, end up on the other, being hurt, being heartbroken. Because I always believe when you treat people right.
It's kind of like all of us, though.
Yeah.
I think I would always say that we take that. I remember Mama would always say, you know, they give us credit to everything, Papa. But I would always say that our ability to love so deeply is from Papa.
Because you have to understand, according to psychology, the girl child first love is a father.
Yeah.
And if you love your dad, if your father loves you, showed you so much love, all you see is every male that comes in your life, you're gonna love them.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. So the people that don't really have their fathers in their life, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, I didn't say this, psychology said this. The people that don't have their fathers in their lives or had another experience with their fathers, they tend to be a lot more hardcore when it comes to men. So that's why they always say, if you want a good wife, look at the relationship between that person and their father. So that's another tip. So look out.
Okay, I like that. Do you hear that, guys? I like that. And you know, I think that always kind of stands out with us, especially us the girls. I think, like with all of my older siblings and even my younger siblings, even my younger sisters that are in relationships, you can see how much they go out for the people that they're with. It's just so much
because we love our dad.
Yeah,
our dad loved us.
And our dad loved us so much. But for me, my father was the epitome of what a man should
Top.
be. Top of
Yes.
the line type of,
Yes.
you know, and you know that. And I
Of
think
course.
for us as girls, growing up with Papa and the love he showed us and how he treated us, it's like we don't have a choice but to love. When
love.
we're in a situation, that's it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's like we go all in.
We go all in.
We go all
man,
in,
you know.
head first, everybody,
Yeah.
everything.
And I
else.
think
So
that's,
yeah.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, so.
That's nice. So yeah, I've never either. Okay.
The
Never
sister
dated two.
sisters.
We don't know that. Okay. This is like my staple question. Never have I ever been skinny dipping. Have you?
Bro, that is a good question.
Oh, you have. You have. You.
Which one?
Okay. Okay, Mimi. Okay, Mimi.
Whoa. I got a backstory.
Okay, well tell me. Have you?
Yes.
You have. Okay, go. Finally, tell me now. Tell me. This is a staple question on the Never Have I Ever segment, and I'm so happy that my sister. Go on.
You have to understand. I lived in Miami.
You lived. Okay.
I lived in Miami.
Okay.
So that's it.
That's the story.
That's it.
You're not giving us more.
I lived in Miami,
Okay.
and if you know Miami, you know.
You know that Miami
You know,
is lit.
yeah, Miami is it. I'm sorry. You can't go further than that. So.
But I think this is my first guest that has had this. I've never have I ever gone skinny dipping question, and I have. And you know what her response is? She lived in Miami.
And I used to model. Please
Okay.
give me a credit.
Okay.
It wasn't that bad though. It was just a nice
I mean,
day.
skinny
and-
dipping. I don't know. Was skinny dipping is skinny dipping?
Well, you have to understand. There's certain bathing suits out there. You might as well just skinny dip.
Okay, girl. Okay,
Just the
girl.
pretty devil's advocate. Just being center here.
Okay. I hear you. This is my fourth question. Yes. Fourth question. Never have I ever fought over a man. Rah. I want to know.
This is a good one. I think I kept my cool.
You've never, yeah, I've never.
Yeah, I kept my cool.
I think that's ghetto.
yeah, hose straight up.
I think that's ghetto.
Yeah, because to
Like-
me it's like if a man ever put you
See,
in a position, to
bye-bye.
you to fight, that means they don't
He
even
doesn't
deserve to
respect
be
you
with
or
you.
deserve- yeah.
They don't even deserve to be with you
That
in the
is
first
true.
place. So to me, that's how I looked at it. So anyway, there's drama,
You're different. You're like, bye, peace out.
I'm out.
I
so,
always say that
yeah,
too. I don't
it's
like
not- it's
drama. I
not
like to
welcome.
laugh and make money.
It's not. Yep,
Yeah. I
absolutely.
think
So
that- don't-
it's,
don't fight
it's not
over
what-
no man.
Don't ever fight over no man.
Don't
please,
fight over a man.
Please. You know, like
If a
that?
man is putting you in a position to fight, he doesn't deserve you
No, he doesn't deserve it and he doesn't love you.
at all.
If a man loves you, the number one thing to do is to protect you.
Protect you because men are natural protectors and providers.
Yes.
Right.
Men, according to psychology, you see everything I say, I like to quote it because in psychology, every time you made a statement, you know, we have to give references. Every quote that you said, if it's from Fanta, you have to make sure you credit Fanta there.
Yeah.
So according to psychology, you know, it's men are naturally for three things. For example, you know, provide, protect, and procreate. So this is what makes you a man. So, you know, you have to be a provider, you have to protect, and you have to
I'm fragile.
procreate. That's just the nature, you know, because that's just men are for.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I always tell people, I'm not for the 50-50.
Me too.
I
Oh
don't
my
believe in
God.
50-50.
This is how you know we're
and
related.
I will never, ever.
I don't know the
I believe
50-50.
a woman should be a woman, and a husband and a man should be a man. A woman should know their place in life. Your job in life is to make sure you take care of your family, which includes your husband. You have to be submissive. You have to make sure you're
To the right man.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
the right man is the one that can protect, provide, and procreate.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the man. I'm not talking about
the. Okay.
yeah, because that is not a
Yeah,
man.
at all.
So and a woman needs to feel safe. Because
If
when
I
we are
feel safe, you get the best version of your woman.
because when I'm safe, I'm vulnerable.
I am, and I'm
it's
soft.
easy.
And it's so easy.
Yeah, it's so easy because that's what we are
Take
meant
note.
for. We are meant to love
be
and
soft
nurture and to
and
be soft and
Soft
sweet.
like me.
But you cannot be that in a relationship where you have to work so hard. You almost have to
Or
feel like you're
struggle, love.
competing,
No.
struggling, or 50-50. Girlfriend,
We
no.
didn't grow up with the 50-50
No.
situation.
Our father took care
Our
of
father
all
took care
our
of all his
mothers.
wives.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they were happy. They traveled. They
Yes.
enjoyed their lives. Okay?
Absolutely.
Period.
So yeah.
Final question.
Look at us.
Wait, look. Final question.
This is like another level.
It definitely is. final
Oh,
question.
Fanta.
Never have I ever stalked an ex on social media.
I have a
I
savage
think I'll answer this
attitude.
one. I have.
Have I ever stalked an
An
ex on social media? No.
You've never?
Because most of the time, I am the one that ends stuff, and once I end stuff, I block you.
See, that's the thing though. I don't block.
I understand.
Even if I end
people
the
always
situation,
said-
I'm literally like, you won't see me.
But the thing is, like, for some reason, all my exes want me. I just don't.
I'm not even gonna get into that, but you know what? That wraps this segment. The Never Have I Ever segment.
I didn't say that,
That's
never.
facts. That right there is.
It's about block
You know that like, you know that like, if I'm so toxic, then why are you back?
No, you're back.
But,
Thank you.
But that wraps the segment of the Never Have I Ever. Thank you guys so much for watching. Just quickly, you obviously, if you don't know Mimi, Mimi has the Mimi Jaha show. I mean, Mimi has the Mimi show. If you don't know me, Mimi has the Mimi show. Please tell us a little bit about the Mimi show.
Oh, wow.
And I know that's part of the visit why you came back home as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. The Mimijaha show was created because, you know, I wanted to tell the stories of the Gambians in the diaspora. And coming back home, because I'm very, very fortunate. I'm so humble and I'm so grateful to be living this life.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking it for granted. And I remember going back and forth, and I realized, you know, the people in the Gambia and the Gambians in the diaspora, there was a huge disconnect. I'm sorry, a huge disconnect, a huge misconception when it comes to, you know, what they're doing out there. I felt like we never really had a platform to share their stories, to kind of like connect these two. And you know, being in the field of communication and journalism, and I took it upon myself to start a show where I wanted to highlight the Gambians in the diaspora, especially in the U.S., and what they're doing to bring the connection back to the Gambians here. So whoever I happen to interview, if they want to do anything here, it becomes a lot easier for them because some people have seen them on the show.
Already.
Yeah, and that's how the Mijaha show came about. And then of course I started highlighting on their events. Because people see the people in America, in the U.S. especially, where, you know, you're partying, they're having all these events, but not really knowing what the
it is
event's
about.
about.
Yeah.
So the show, what it did was, it actually highlighted all the stuff that they do. The gathering is just not to party. It's actually, most of them are like fundraising, and then they're doing all these amazing things back in the Gambia. But they never really had that highlight or that you know, to pretty much tell the story and
Bridge the
expose,
gap.
bridge that gap. You know, so that's how the Mijaha show came about.
Nice.
So, you know, it's been so humbling, you know. And with the fourth season.
Fourth season,
Yes.
rah.
Fourth season, and I was able to you know, film certain few episodes, kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, see how it will look if I decided to come back
Home as well.
and continue that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
here just kind of like to bridge.
Bridge the gap. Still
Bridge the
have
gap.
your foot there, but also have your foot here.
Because I'm the only one in the U.S. that have a successful platform when it comes to the talk show. Because of course, you know, Gambians, like I said, you know, the whole women and you know, we just meant to do this, meant to do that, and you know, I happened to break that boundaries and did something with what I love, and so yeah, that's the Mijaha show. Season 4 is coming up, so I'm excited. And it's very humbling, and it's very, very, very great to actually see, you know, the vision coming to life. So I'm excited.
Just quickly tell the people where to watch the Mimi Jaha show. So when it comes out, and when season 4 is airing.
Well, the Mijaha show, you can follow us on all our social media platforms at the Mimi Jaha show. We're on YouTube, we're on all the social media platforms. You can Google it, that will give you a lot more easier access to the show as well. So season 4 is airing out this fall, inshallah. So, you know, I'm excited about that as well. And you can go back and watch the previous seasons, you know, from season 1 to season 3. Everything is up on YouTube as well, and our Facebook platform as well. So, you know, yep, the Mijaha show.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
very, very much for coming on Sip and Chat. I really appreciate it. I love you. I'm so happy that you're on this platform. This is like it's such a beautiful moment to know that when I was 17 and your first time visiting back home, it's like, Poshi, what do you want to do? I'm like, you know what? They're telling me I should model. They're telling me I should do this. But I really like the media. I like talking. And I go for it, you know. So for me, this is a full circle moment. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for being the way maker for us. Thank you for showing me that it's okay to be, because you know, growing up, I was shy.
Yes.
I was timid.
Yes.
I didn't talk much.
No.
I was always by myself.
Absolutely.
So to be able to come out of my shell and be this woman I am today, obviously you contributed to that. Like everyone in my life, my family, my sisters. And I love you so much for that, and I'm so thankful. Don't cry, you're gonna make me cry.
You have a combo, right? You know that.
You're gonna make me cry.
It's just so humble.
But before we start crying, thank you so very much for being with us. This was Sip and Chat.
Yeah.
My name is Fanta Ceesay, and my guest was the beautiful Mimi, Mrs. Ba now, who's
Thank
also
you.
my sister and has been in the media for so many years, and it was such an honor to have her on my show. This is definitely a full circle moment. And remember, peace, love, and cha-ching, cha-ching.
Ka-ching! Already know.